As a film critic, changing your opinion sucks. People see it as you being inconsistent and not knowing how you feel about a movie. But at the end of the day, change is a sign of growth, not inconsistency. And as someone who has rewatched a lot of movies, I have a lot of changed opinions, so let's get into it, starting with my most recent videos and working my way down. The Great Silence being my top 10 favorite movie endings. Yeah, this video is from a month ago, I'm already rethinking it. I mean, don't get me wrong, The Great Silence has a great ending, see what I did there?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Especially for how unexpected it is, but I don't think it should have been in the top 10, maybe not even top 30. I watched A Great Silence a couple of weeks before making this video, so recency bias is definitely involved, but if I made it today, I would definitely replace it with The Dark Knight or even Avengers Infinity War. I just rewatched that and forgot how hard that ending hits. My Tarantino ranking. This whole video is terrible. The fact that I called Kurt Russell, Jeff Bridges, called Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, and pronounced David Carradine, and David Carandi, as well as the fact that the audio is really bad for some reason. I was just completely burnt out on reviewing movies at this point. I was studying for my semester exam, so I didn't put a lot of thought into my criticisms or the script. I do think the comments overreacted a little bit, almost like they never heard anybody disagree with their opinion in their life. If having rewatched a lot of these films, I would heavily switch up the list. For instance, I rewatched Jackie Brown recently and I loved it. It finally clicked to me everything this movie is trying to do. I think it may have the most likable characters and best soundtrack of his filmography. I still think the ending is anticlimactic, but that final scene between Jackie and Matt's may be the saddest of Tarantino's filmography. Still not his best, but definitely not in last place. Not below Death Proof. I also rewatched Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 in the Vista as a double feature. And maybe it's because I watched it with a good crowd or the fact that I watched both films back to back, but I loved it. I used to think Kill Bill was great, now I think they're both masterpieces. Hell, I'd actually say Kill Bill Volume 2 is better than Volume 1, although they're really close in quality. So my updated list would be Death Proof, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill Volume 1, Kill Bill Volume 2, Inglourious Basterds, Django Unchained, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and The Hateful Eight. My Family Guy video. I actually really like how this video turned out and don't disagree in my episode reviews. I do think the conclusion could have been better. I feel like I went too easy on the show at the end when really the show has just become a shell of its former self. Maybe it's because I spent over 10 hours of watching Family Guy at this point, which is definitely not healthy, but I really should have had a more cohesive conclusion at the end. Top 10 most underrated movies of all time. I probably should have watched more movies before making this. Putting a Michael Bay and DreamWorks movie in here was definitely not a good choice. I would still recommend watching this video as I think a lot of my movie recommendations in it are good, but today I would add Bone Tomahawk and to watch Presents 50/50, Popstar Never Stop Popping, Into Violent Nature, Duel, The Mule, Blue Ruin, Piece by Piece, 13 Assassins, Killed, Bad Times at the El Royale, A Perfect World, Day of Anger, Art of Craft. I could literally keep going. I should probably remake that list. Rogue One is mid. Andor has definitely helped with my thoughts on this movie, but now knowing more about our characters and what led up to this mission, I got a lot more invested. Also forgot how good the last hour of this film is, but it's generally some of the best in modern Star Wars. Gareth Edwards directs the hell out of this movie, even though the score isn't as good as Andor, it's still really good. I just really loved it on rewatch. I watched it twice this year. I still think Bodhi is a little underdeveloped and you can tell there were a lot of reshoots, but otherwise this has aged like fine wine, while the sequels continue to age like milk. My top 10 Western movies of all time. I'm sorry if this is getting repetitive, but once again, I've just watched more movies since this came out, and having the Ballad of Buster Scruggs on the list really hurts to look back on. I'll definitely include The Hateful Eight, Bone Tomahawk, and Django Unchained on the list, and consider putting Tombstone, 3:10 to Yuma, Day of Anger, Stagecoach, and any Sergio Corbucci film. I probably mispronounced Sergio Corbucci there. Please call me out in the comments, I'm working on this. Okay, I mispronounced a lot of words. The Jaws sequel sucks. Don't get me wrong, I don't disagree with that statement. The Jaws sequels do suck. It's just the way I spelled it in the thumbnail. The Jaws sequels sucks. This bothers me every single day. I'm just too lazy to change it. All I have to do is remove the S and sucks, but also nobody's called me out on this, so I'ma just procrastinate on this till the day I die. Thor Love and Thunder is a good film. I don't think it's a bad film, but it's definitely not a good film, and giving it 8.5 out of 10 is pretty embarrassing to look back on. I used to be very lenient with how I score my movies, so just know every movie review I posted up to 2023 has a score that's way too high. The Shining deserves a reboot. No, it doesn't. The Shining is a perfect horror movie that cannot be expanded on or rebooted. Dr. Sleep being Inception to that role. My reasoning was that The Shining is already very different from the book and that other directors could definitely have different takes on the story. But really, I don't think I need to see more takes on the story. I watched the movie, I read the book, I watched the sequel. That's all The Shining I need in one lifetime. I could see a direct adaptation of the book being made, but there will need to be some massive talent involved for me to get invested in that. Inception needs a sequel. I don't know what the hell is on when I said this, but just because a movie has a cool concept does not mean we need to see more of that concept. That film ended perfectly. Multiverse of Madness is brilliant. It's decent. I like Sam Raimi and think Elizabeth Olsen is giving a fantastic performance in this. There's some strong horror elements in this one, but compared to most of what's come out of this franchise, especially in the last couple of years, it pales in comparison. My top 10 favorite TV shows of all time. I made this video when I was 14 years old, and putting Cobra Kai in the top 10 is crazy. I guess at that point the show still has peaked, but even back then it was never great. The Mandalorian and Saturday Night Live would definitely be replaced by Andor and Key and Peele today. I actually still agree Modern Family, The Walking Dead, The Simpsons, and South Park be on the list. But if I was to remake this list, I would have Black Mirror, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, The Sopranos, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And finally, top 10 movies of 2021, and may surprise you. I put Red Notice and Free Guy on the list. I was not lying, this video does surprise you. I also misspelled Black Widow for some reason, and even though Belfast is still a pretty good movie, I would definitely have No Time to Die or Dune over it. To be fair, it wasn't a great year for movies, but if I had to remake it, I would have Nobody, South Park Post-COVID, Black Phone, and West Side Story. I also forgot that Marvel came out with 8 movies and TV shows that year, like Jesus. Anyways, that's all my changed opinions. Who knows, maybe in a couple years I'll look back on this video and hate it. Tell me in the comments if you disagree with me or have any opinions yourself that have changed recently. Follow me on Letterboxd and Instagram, and have a good day.